I'm proposing and looking also for funding for an after-school club at the middle school. So I'm looking for a technology club. So I'm looking for approval and funding for an after-school club with a focus on technology. So throughout this pitch and presentation, I will be discussing why we need an after-school club, technology pieces that include coding, merge cubes and microbits, the budget request that goes along, and some resources that will help the committee make their decision. So first, after-school programs are beneficial. So this idea for an after-school club came to me from talking with my students. They talk a lot about careers in the technology field. I feel like they stray away from a lot of the traditional careers that used to be in conversations, at least when I was growing up, and a lot of their fields involve technology or coding. So benefits of keeping students after school for an after-school program. So I have linked the research, but in a study from the Cassell Project, one of their biggest findings was that after-school programs had a positive impact on feelings and attitudes and school performance overall. So these after-school programs help students find their group, find an area that they like, something they want to try, and it's a comfortable, safe place where they are with other people that have similar interests. When students have something to look forward to, it gets them more involved in school and coming to school in the first place. In our district, we have a big problem with attendance, and there are students that express that an after-school program or a club or a musical instrument they want to participate in, so they come to school for that reason. So getting them to school is an important step, and by offering an after-school program, it'll get them here. And effective after-school programs also help teach students how to socialize with each other, how to behave towards each other, and increase students' perceptions of themselves. So having places where students feel like they have a strength, if they are weak in math or ELA, having a program where they can thrive makes them feel better about themselves. So the goals of this after-school program that I'm looking to start would be exposure and opportunity for students in the tech and STEM fields. So we don't have a lot of those opportunities in our area. So this would be one way to start that. And I am looking for an after-school program at the middle school, but who's to say that eventually it can't trickle down to the elementary grades. This program aligns nicely with the Aspire program. So the Aspire program is all about careers and getting students excited about their future. So this program goes hand in hand with that Aspire program. When talking to my students and potential careers they were interested in, a lot of the ones were related around video editing, streaming, streaming on YouTube, or being a gamer, streaming while playing video games, being a part of movie production, or creating the video games that other people play. So all of those fields, and there were more, but all of these fields have to do with the technology field or the STEM field, the coding field. And this after-school program has the potential of getting parents involved, community members involved. A lot of parents didn't grow up in this tech field. So it gives them a chance to see, okay, my child wants to create video games. What goes into that? And they get a chance to see how awesome it is. So one of the ideas I have to focus on in this after-school program are the use of merge cubes. So down at the bottom right, I have an example of what a merge cube looks like. So the first year of this program, there would be a focus on merge cubes, Scratch, other coding languages, microbits. And then as the program develops and we get feedback and we grow, there could be different focuses every year, so it's not the same thing. So merge cubes, there's the physical object that I have here on the screen, and it does have potential for augmented reality too. So there are apps out there. So the top right has an example of a student that took a merge cube and turned it into a dissection of frogs. And there is a link there to see samples as well. So students can create all types of experiences. So I have the example of the frog dissection. There's another example of a globe. And there was a Zoom presentation I watched by an ISTE expert, Lauren Kocher, who talked a lot about merge cubes, her experience, and shared an example of students using merge cubes to create a book review and animations to go along with that book review. So merge cubes can be applied across many different content areas. Scratch and other coding. So Scratch is a program, a large program that revolves around coding, and students can create stories, games. They can take something that's already there and modify it. And the best thing about Scratch is it's free, so there's no cost involved. Python and Java are also other coding languages, but Scratch really just scratches the surface and is the beginning and a great introduction into coding. So this screenshot here is just an example of a game that somebody had created, a fruit frenzy game where you have to, it's a matching game, so you mix the fruits around to match 3 in a row until it goes away. So there's so many opportunities of things you can do with Scratch, or you could take somebody else's already created animation and make it your own and get practice that way. And you can see the code that somebody else has already created and use that to help generate ideas as well. Microbits, so top right, there's an example of a microbit. Microbits also have many uses, just like merge cubes. So students can use the microbits, their comfort level. There are a lot of lessons that are for beginners and things that are more advanced. So from the microbit website, it describes a microbit as a pocket-sized computer that introduces you how software and hardware work together. It has an LED light display, it has a couple of buttons and sensors, and you can program it to do all kinds of different things. So the newer microbits also have built-in microphones and speakers as well. So for an example, one lesson that I had done with a microbit is I was a 90s kid, so if you remember those black magic 8 balls that you'd ask a question and you would shake it and it would give you all sorts of different answers. I created one of those with the microbit. So you would ask a question and then you would shake the microbit chip and it would pop up with one of the answers, a yes, a no, or I don't think so, or I don't know what to say. And that's just one example. So the budget that goes along with this program, I have listed here. So we would need adults to run this program. We would need to buy the microbits and the merge cubes. We would love to have a license for a CoSpace site in order to do some of the coding and use the merge cube. So the cost here is one license for up to 30 people. That does include the 2 adults or facilitators, but there are options for different licenses for more people as well. And I put in some funding to have some local guest speakers come in to talk to the students about their careers. So these are the areas we need funding, but since this program is so aligned with Aspire and we have a plentiful amount of Aspire funds that are looking to be spent, so a lot of this cost could come from that program since it is career related. Other needs that we have would include iPads, laptops, late buses, but we already have these. They're paid for. We already have all this in place, so it would not take any additional costs there. And there's some time demand. So the after school would meet for 1 hour twice a month for about 8 months, which is 16 hours. And then there would need to be some planning time on the facilitator part. And that's where that facilitator stipend comes in. Some other resources to look at to show how awesome coding is and how important it is. So one recommended resource that's linked here is Black Girls Code. It gives some great statistics around education, finances, the workforce with girls and women of color. So this initiative is really about getting girls and women, people of color into these backgrounds of coding. And there's information on their site about, they have camps, events, and workshops that they hold. Of course, things are a little limited right now with COVID, but they do have stuff online as well. Code Ninjas is another site that is geared towards the younger kids and their parents. And they did have in-person centers, again, COVID permitting, And there's programs you can do right at home that involve coding. And there are many others. There's the Hour of Code. There's a lot of different coding websites to check out. In particular, there is a school district in Pennsylvania that implemented computational thinking in their day-to-day curriculum in grades K-8. So it's not just an after-school program, but it's an everyday and every content type of program. And their building is designed where they have these labs right in the middle of their pods and all the regular classrooms surrounding that. So it's just a part of their building, a part of their curriculum. And it includes hands-on activities, coding, 3D printing, working with robotics. And their students in that district begin learning how to code in the first grade, which is why if this program were to be successful, we could get it back to the elementary grades. And this district reports continuing success. They said it's a work in progress. They're constantly making tweaks and changes, and it seems to be going really well for this district. So we're not at a place where we could implement this in our day-to-day curriculum, but again, the start of an after-school program will show us what's effective and what's working and have something to look forward to long-term. Finally, it's important that students get opportunities to explore elements in the tech fields and the STEM fields. Those fields are always looking for new people to enter the workforce, particularly women and people of color. An ICE article by Julie gave 6 reasons that coding should be introduced in the K-5 classrooms, and those are listed here. It sparks interest, opens up a new domain of knowledge, helps address gender gap, again, trying to get females into the field, can get parents and the community involved, which is what I'm hoping to do with this after-school program, starts a momentum for a curriculum, so going towards what the school in Pennsylvania is doing, and it addresses computational thinking skills. So you'll have access to the slide, which has all the resources used, so you can check them out. You can check out Black Girls Code, you can check out the Scratch website, see the different projects that are on there. All great things to check out, great resources. So thank you for your time.